Welcome to another beautiful episode of HavahSomeStories. Miss HavahLava here. Today I'll be bringing to you The Lotus Seed by Sherry Garland. This has beautiful illustrations in it, so be sure to look up at the pages if you're drawing your own picture of a lotus flower or something. Here we go. My grandmother saw the emperor cry the day he lost his golden dragon throne. She wanted something to remember him by, so she snuck down to the silent palace near the river of perfumes and plucked a seed from a lotus pod that rattled in the imperial garden. She hid the seed in a special place under the family altar, wrapped in a piece of silk from the adai she wore that day. Whenever she felt sad or lonely, she took out the seed and thought of the brave young emperor. And when she married a young man chosen by her parents, she carried the seed inside her pocket for good luck, long life, and many children. When her husband marched off to war, she raised her children alone. One day, bombs fell all around, and soldiers clamored door to door. She took the time to grab the seed, but left her mother of pearl, her hair combs lying on the floor. One terrible day, her family scrambled into a crowded boat and set out on a stormy sea. Ba watched the mountains and the waving palms slowly fade away. She held the seed in her shaking fingers and silently said goodbye. She arrived in a strange new land, with blinking lights and speeding cars and towering buildings that scraped the sky, and a language she didn't understand. She worked many years, day and night, and so did her children and her sisters and her cousins too, living together in one big house. Last summer, my little brother found the special seed and asked questions again and again. He'd never seen a lotus bloom or an emperor on a golden dragon throne. So one night he stole the seed from beneath the family altar and planted it in a pool of mud somewhere near Ba's onion patch. Ba cried and cried when she found out the seed was gone. She didn't eat, she didn't sleep. My silly brother forgot what spot of earth held the seed. Then, one day, in spring, my grandmother shouted, and we all ran to the garden and saw a beautiful pink lotus unfurling its petals so creamy and soft. "It's the flower of life and hope," my grandmother said. "No matter how ugly the mud or how long the seed lies dormant, the bloom will be beautiful, and it's the flower of my country." When the lotus blossom faded and turned into a pod, Ba gave each of her grandchildren a seed to remember her by, and she kept one for herself to remember the emperor by. I wrapped my seed in a piece of silk and hid it in a secret place. Someday I will plant it and give the seeds to my own children and tell them about the day my grandmother saw the emperor cry. Oh, what a beautiful story. Thanks for tuning in to HavahSomeStories. There is a little note about the author here I would love to read you if you want to hear it. It says, 4 centuries, emperors ruled Vietnam with absolute power because the people believed they were messengers from heaven and all wise. One emperor built a magnificent palace on the river of perfumes in the city of Hue, surrounded by majestic mountains, modeled after the famous Forbidden City in Peking, China. It was a city within a city, filled with fantastic gardens and orchards, surrounded by lotus fields filled moats. Elaborate gates and graceful bridges crossed the moats to the part of Hue where the ordinary citizens lived. In the late 1800s, France conquered Vietnam and made it into a colony. The French exploited the land and people, and soon the emperors lost their power. The last emperor of Vietnam, Nguyen Vien Thuy, was born 1913. When he took the throne at the age of 12, he became Bao Dai, keeper of greatness. Although he had no real power, Bao Dai was a symbol of Vietnamese heritage, and he performed traditional ceremonies. Many Vietnamese wanted to be free of French rule and become an independent nation again. So, in 1945, Bao Dai, I think that's actually how you say it, abdicated his throne, handing over his golden seal and golden sword to the leaders of the independence movement held by Ho Chi Minh. A bloody war followed. In 1954, when Vietnam defeated the French and won its independence at last. But Vietnam was still a country in turmoil, and soon another war erupted between the North and the South. This time, the United States helped the Southerners. The civilian war lasted until 1975, when the South was defeated. As the conquerors, Northern armies swept down, about 1 million Vietnamese fled away in boats. They came from all walks of life: teachers, doctors, merchants, farmers, fishermen, leaving behind their homes, their possessions, their families, and friends. America became a new home for the majority of Vietnamese refugees. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. See you next time.